Hello friends, welcome again on our AIS Facebook platform. Most of you must be enjoying your holiday and today's Boxing Day, but I thought let's put something for everyone to think and discuss, because I always have shared that I'm not very much into technology, so I'm not sure how we can make these Facebook posts more like interactive while I'm giving, because my role is and my focus and objective is to share with you something which can be beneficial for all of you. But then I always have shared, don't take that information just for the sake of taking. If you disagree with that, come up with a reason and logic and let's have a discussion. It's always good to have an honest and healthy discussion, and you might have some other perspective on that subject, and it is always good to have something to talk. But if you feel whatever is being shared at this platform, then see if it is making a lot of sense. Try to see how you can pass on to someone who might be in your circle so that you can play a role in their well-being. Or if it is somehow associated with you, try to see that whether it makes sense and can I incorporate certain things what are being talked about, are they lacking in my life. So today's subject is why our current yogis, means those who are into yoga practice, either as a teacher or as a daily practice of yoga, why they still suffer from very simple problem, what we call a seasonal hay fever, common cold, cough, and then a bit more serious problem, gut problem, joint problem, and then more serious is the autoimmune disorders, and then maybe a lot of mental and emotional issues, depressions, and even getting into all the time panic attacks. And so what exactly lacking in today's world of yogis and those our traditional yoga practitioners? And as we all understand, it's nothing to discuss here that yoga originates from India. That's why it is a part of our Vedic philosophy, and people have followed yoga as a normal daily practice and routines in their life, and they live very healthy life and lived a long life. And one might say that, okay, we also live long life, 80 years, 85 years old, and we are practicing yoga for so many years. But then what is the purpose of that 85-year age or 90-year age? Then if you have two open means your bypass surgery, your hip is already replaced, knee is already replaced, and then you have your uterus is removed, you have done a hysterectomy or some other problems, and always have gut issues and on so many medicine, blood pressure and cholesterol and all simple issues. So question is, what exactly, why you just all the time have a mat, means your mat rolled up and on your back, on your bicycle, on the back of your car, and you always without fail getting into that, but still these sufferings, these pains are always there. One need to give a thought. And if I have to give you a very simple answer, what is lacking is, because what is yoga? I'm sure all of you know better than me. Yoga is a simple way that how you can enhance your awareness towards life, because your ultimate goal is union with whom? That higher self. But for that you can't do if your inner self is always so impure, so much clogged up with various levels of toxins or ama. And that's where unfortunately we don't try to look into, because in our today's yogic world we are always of this time that no, you don't need to tell anyone that what is wrong and what they should amend, because no one wants to listen today. That is where the biggest problem is. We are so much engulfed with our own ego that how come someone can say anything to us? But in the past, whenever anyone want get into yogic practice, first thing was that they start learning how to be humble, how to be open for some kind of information which I need to then reflect for myself. That is that part whatever been has shared with me today is already in my life or not, otherwise how I can incorporate that. So that is the one biggest difference which has come up. And then when we talk about awareness, one of the biggest awareness is that whatever you put here, but no one wants to even give a slightest thought on that. And that relate with our diet. Every yogi do understand that we are what we eat, but never even think that whatever I am eating, is it really good for my mind, good for my awareness? And that's where the biggest challenge comes up. Look at your own diet. I don't want to get into. Look at if, I hope when you start yoga, your yogic teacher might be talking at some stage what we call as sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. These are the three gunas which comes from the very first primary chapter of yoga philosophy. But then just listening these three words and not able to do any little bit homework that what exactly these three words mean. Just having white clothes does not make you super sattvic person, which most of the time we think. And if we can really understand, if your yogic teacher is capable of explaining you those things, because sometimes who knows that who is standing in front of you as your yogic teacher, himself or herself also suffering from those problems what I'm sharing, and every week or every month or every fortnight they are also having these problems coming. So it means they also come up and fall in the same category. But I hope you can do your own homework and try to learn that what are those principles of these three gunas and how they can be acquired in our life and how they can play a role in my well-being. At least one thing try to understand, that why we should suffer. Everyone has to suffer. That's one part you need to remember. Everyone can have some ailment, does not mean having ailment make us bad person. But then how come frequently? How come so easily? How come then you have to rely on all the time on so many medications, morning, evening? That is what you need to look at. That is why you have tried to be taking this regime of doing yoga on a daily level, even though you are not becoming a yogi teacher. But even if yoga is a part of your life, you must look at, have it cleaned me at a physical, mental and emotional level. If not, then there are some gaps. And those gaps are what you should look at. And where you will find that these gaps can be easily understood, that is where the role of Ayurveda comes in. Biggest problem is of our current modern yogis that they think that doing just the asanas is the yoga. Asanas were, as I mentioned many times, are only one part of a yogic principle. You have to incorporate all 8 limbs of yoga in your life, and then those 8 limbs are actually done by Ayurvedic principles. So if you can incorporate those things, will help you only, not anyone else. So don't think that how come someone can tell me these things. These are for our own benefit. And if you can acquire that benefit, achieve that benefit, help someone. Don't try to keep the information to yourself. So that is what yogic and Vedic philosophy is. And on this day, when you have just enjoyed a wonderful Christmas festival and your new year is almost on the knocking at your door, just make a change if you have not done that so far in your life, that I want to understand the real principle of well-being. I am having these problems and how I can mitigate. And that's where you will find that when you will bring yoga and Ayurveda together and learn that and understand, you can live in a very good life physically, mentally, emotionally and socially and at a family level. Thanks everyone.